Right now, I feel as though we are watching one of the most unique English talents we have seen in some time. I'm of course talking about Adam Wharton. He started the season rather slowly. He had a bad injury and it took him a little bit of time to get going. But right now, I would say he is back and he is special. The big compliment I would give him is that he may be English, but he plays football more like a Spanish central midfielder. What do we mean by that? Basically, he always feels like he is 2 steps ahead of the opposition. He's almost robotic in a way that he scans the pitch. He sees the pitch in a different way to everyone else, and already knows what is going to happen before it eventually happens, and it allows him to progress the ball really, really effectively. Why is he so good at doing this? Why is Wharton always ahead of the game? Well, because he is an amazing scanner of the pitch, which means that in situations like this, he's got his head on a swivel basically. He is always trying to take in fresh information of where the ball is, where his teammates are, where the opposition are, and therefore where the space is. He acts calmly. He is looking for information, and like I said, that means that he can play the game almost at a slower tempo, even though he appears quicker than everyone else. You can see it in a situation like this. Wharton in this deep area, on the edge of his own penalty area, and you can see the opposition Everton player coming forward to press. He's had a look at Wharton, he knows where he is, and he starts to engage with the high pressure. He's trying to put him under this pressure here, moving forward into this position. Wharton scans. So what does that mean? He basically turns his head and he looks at him and goes, okay, I know you're there, I know where you are pressing. So he just kind of adjusts accordingly. Rather than continuing to run forward, where he now would have been under pressure, he just stops. He just stops into this space here. He checks back a little bit to the right hand side, but now he is the free pass, and you can see the Everton player now a little bit confused, because last time he saw Wharton he was in one position, but now he's moved. Wharton is amazing at picking up these little bits of space to give himself more time on the ball. Now, Wharton's scanning work is actually really impressive. I think it's actually one of the best currently in the English game, but actually what's more exciting about Wharton is the way that he controls the football. Again, he makes it all look so comfortable, and the way he controls the ball once again allows him to be quicker basically than the opposition. And for me, there are 2 types of touches that I would say he does, but it nearly always involves receiving the ball on the back foot. What does the back foot actually mean? So let's get Wharton facing forward here. If we grab this tool, let's say Adam Wharton is facing forward here, and the ball is on this side of the pitch. As the ball comes across, rather than receiving the ball on the front foot, going towards the ball, very often he will take the ball on the back foot. Now, one of the reasons why he is going to do this is because it opens up the pitch for him. So let's put him in the middle for a second, and let's say the ball is on the left-hand side, and it comes across the pitch like this. If he goes towards the ball and takes the first touch on his stronger left foot, on the front foot, it actually closes the pitch off for him a little bit, because as he moves towards the ball and takes this first touch, this way, he's closing off the pitch. He is restricting himself to playing down this side. Whereas what Wharton actually prefers to do is let the ball roll across his body and then use his weaker foot to take the first touch, and it centralises the ball in the middle of his body and it opens up the whole pitch. Now, because he has let the ball roll across him, he can see the whole pitch. He can literally choose what direction he wants to play in. It also gives him just a little bit more time as well, because the opposition sort of want to gamble and cut out that ball as it comes across. But as Wharton just lets it roll, he just buys himself that extra half second, which is crucial in these moments. We've actually got a couple of really nice examples of this. Wharton receiving the ball in the middle of the pitch, but receiving the ball and taking the ball on his back foot to open things up, to open up the passing opportunities for him that he has in front of him. So you can see him here in the middle of the pitch, and as he receives the ball, it would be easy for him to want to go towards this ball. The football, particularly in England, it's quite a frantic game at times. It's a lot about 50-50s and winning your duels. It would be easy for Wharton to rush towards this ball. But if he did that, he would be forcing himself into this side of the pitch, which we can actually see is well occupied by the opposition. What Wharton does instead is he opens his body up. He lets the ball come from this side and roll across him. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, he is going to take the first touch with the right foot. And this extra split second gives him time to get his head up and have a look at what's in front of him. And like I said, it opens up his passes. Because he's let the ball roll across his body, it gives him more time to play forward. But his passing angles and his passing options, if you like, are increased. You can see it again here. Receiving the ball, it would be easy to go towards the ball here, to race the opposition to this first ball. But Wharton doesn't want to do that. He plays the game at his own pace. Once again, he opens up his body. He lets the ball roll across him. He takes the first touch with the weaker right foot, and then is just going to prod it through the middle. This extra touch, it drags opposition players towards him. It's that tactical gravity that we were talking about last week, and then it allows him to play through. It's so impressive how he does this. So that is one way in which Wharton takes the ball on his back foot to open up the pitch in front of him, but he also sometimes receives the ball on his back foot in a slightly different way. Now, why am I talking about receiving on the back foot so much? Well, because I really do think it is pivotal to the way that he plays. Like I said, it gives him these extra moments, and it allows him to manipulate the opposition. Now, what we have seen so far is Wharton taking the ball on his back foot to then pass forward, to open up the pitch in front of him. But of course, he plays in the Premier League, a league where there is a lot of facilities in terms of video analysis. Opposition teams know that in moments he likes to do this, that he likes to open his body up, let it roll across. So what certain players are starting to try and do is jump to him really quickly when he does this, to quickly pounce on him to stop him opening up the pitch. Wharton, though, is being so intelligent with how he works here, because what he will sometimes do to keep the opposition guessing is he will take the ball on his back foot, but rather than setting the ball in the middle, he almost uses it as like a spring touch to go back where he's just come from. So let's say the ball is coming across, takes the ball on the back foot here, and again, it's almost that relaxed manner with which he does it. It draws the opposition in towards him, but then what he does, he takes that first touch, almost like a push. He shoves the ball back where it came from, and it allows him to go into this position. Now, this touch is very, very similar to a touch that a man called Toni Kroos used to do. Now, I am not saying that these two are on the same level, but Toni Kroos is one of my favourite players of all time, and he had a thing which, I don't know if there's a specific name for it, I just call it the Toni Kroos touch, because he used to do this all the time. He would drop into a deeper, wider position. He would let the ball roll across his body here, open up his body, let it go to his back foot, you can see, letting it roll to his left-hand side here, and this would draw the opposition in towards him. What he would then do at the last second is take the first touch with a push. He would spring it back the way he just came, and it leaves the opposition defender completely off balance, and Toni Kroos is able to move forward. This is something he used to do all the time. It was amazing to watch. Again, letting the ball roll across his body onto his weaker left foot, and then taking almost a spring touch back the way it came, back across the opposition to try and get into these positions. Now, I am not saying that Adam Wharton is Toni Kroos, but he does share a similar trait, and we can see this in this moment here. Adam Wharton in the middle of the pitch, and as he receives the ball, he lets it roll across his body, like we have seen several times so far. He is opening his body up to let it roll across, and it's drawing the opposition in, and then springing the touch back where it just came from. It completely throws the balance of the opposition player, and you can see it here. The opposition player now just can't get close to him. He's sort of reaching, trying to get there, but Wharton has opened up just the half a yard of space that he needs, and he can now move the ball forward. It's quality play. Now, as well as drawing the opposition in and creating space for himself and things like that, Wharton is also just an amazing progressive passer. In fact, this season, one of the best ball progressors in the Premier League. Considering this is a season where he supposedly hasn't played as well, that's not half bad from Adam Wharton. He is progressing the ball better than most, and it's just an amazing tool to have. One of the reasons why he is able to do this, again, is because of the fact that he scans. He takes in information around him. He is always looking around him to see what's going on. And it means that when he receives the ball, he's already one step ahead of the game. This man is one step ahead. So when the opposition come in to try and close him down, it's too late, because Wharton has already decided his next pass, because he's already had a look. This will probably show this just a little bit better. You can see here, scanning, looking in different direction. He's going to check his shoulder a few different times. Here, he sees his teammate. He sees Will Hughes, and he keeps scanning. He does a few different things, eventually receives the ball in the middle of the pitch, and by the time the opposition player gets towards him, Wharton has already made his mind up where the pass is going to go. And the reason is, because if we go back 2 clips, he's seen him. He's seen him very, very early here. So when Wharton doesn't have the ball, he's not looking at the ball, he's looking for his next passing option. And like I said, that means when the ball comes in, Wharton is just too quick. He moves the ball around the corner really well, and Crystal Palace can progress the ball from there. This is something that he does all the time. Once again, not looking at the ball. Not looking at the ball. He's got no interest in it. He's looking forward to see his teammates, to see his next pass, what his action is going to be when he next gets the ball. And also, on this occasion, there's a little bit of communication as well. He just has a word with his forwards and says, come a little bit closer to me. I need you closer, because I'm going to get the ball in a minute. And believe me, I'm going to find you. That's what Wharton is doing here. Now, on this occasion, it takes a little while. The ball moves wide. Wharton again, up here, taking a look, seeing what's going on. And eventually, the ball comes back inside the pitch. Wharton has one last look to see where his forwards are, and because he's told them to drop a little bit deeper, they do, they listen, they oblige, and when Wharton gets the ball, first time, round the corner, into the feet of the striker. It is simply too quick for the Everton defenders to deal with. Wharton is 2 steps ahead the whole time. Now, I feel like a lot of what we've spoken about so far is actually Wharton's work before receiving the ball. And I think that's important because he is truly special. That's why I call him unique in that sense, because he does do a lot of work before he actually gets the ball. But we do also need to take a moment just to actually talk about his passing range. It is unbelievable. Off both feet, he is a two-footed passer. He can use his left and his right to spray passes forward. And again, it's the weight of pass. It's how quickly he's able to play them. It makes him an elite progressor. But some of these passes are genuinely just an absolute joke, the speed he plays them with. One like this, it's a clipped ball out into the left channel, but it is weighted to perfection for his teammate to take the ball on the stride. You know, his teammate doesn't have to adjust, he doesn't have to slow down, he doesn't have to massively accelerate. It's dropped onto his strong foot perfectly by Adam Wharton every single time he does this. The passes are immaculate into these positions, and it allows his teammates to just keep moving. They can make a run and they just know Wharton is going to find them. This time on the right foot. This is his weaker foot, and he still has that ability to find his passes. Again, inch perfect into the path of his teammates. This is why I think he is such a special talent in terms of being unique in the English game. He is a passer unlike anything else that English football has produced for several years now. In terms of a young English midfielder, we haven't seen someone like this probably since Michael Carrick. I think Adam Wharton is the best since then, and that's a big compliment. The only thing I would say he really needs to work on in possession, if he wants to go to the next level, is understanding that sometimes it doesn't have to go forward. Wharton, for me, is one of the best ball progressors in the league, and I think he knows that. He tries to progress the ball forward all the time. All the time he's looking for forward passes. To really go to the next level, he needs to pick and choose his moments, you know, understand a little bit when to use the ball in that way. Improve his understanding of when to slow it down to keep the ball for your team, and then next time inject the pace into it, and then next time slow down again. At the moment, he does lose the ball a little bit too frequently, particularly to play for a big modern side. If he gets his big move, he will need to slow down on the ball and keep it a little bit better, and like I said, manage that tempo a little bit more. But I think that will come with age, with experience at the top level. He's not played a full season yet because of injury in the Premier League. You know, that's how good this young man is, with a lack of experience, really. He's an amazing young player. I think, for me, he is one of my favourite talents in the Premier League. I think he's a wonderful young footballer. He will get his big move at some point, I would assume, in the next 18 months. Does he have areas where he needs to improve? Yeah, perhaps his tenacity defensively, and like I said, knowing when just to keep the ball for his side for a minute. But apart from that, I think he's a wonderful young player. Yes, a lot to learn, but also a lot already at his disposal. He's an amazing young player. He's going to get his move eventually, but for today, I don't think there's anything else to talk about. I really want to focus on his work before he receives the ball, which makes him so good with his passing, and hopefully today we have captured that. I've shown you something a little bit different that people are not talking about with Adam Wharton. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you in the next one.